champion. Nobody can ever take that away from him.
Good balance scoring. Test with 24, O'Neal had 20, Crozier 15, Tinsley 13, and Jackson with 12. All 5 starters in double figures.
The Pacers have played a very intelligent game tonight.
Then Wallace is fouled, and Wallace did. Oh, Wallace right at our chest. This has potential to be serious if they don't get between. Wallace upset. Players trying to hold each other off. Steven Jackson and Rasheed Wallace trying to be peacemakers. Now Jackson yelling. Wallace still going. You need the coaches in there to get him away. Jackson challenging Derek Coleman. Somebody should just get Jackson out of there. That's what causes the problem. Rasheed Wallace did an excellent job trying to keep everybody away and trying to keep the peace. But it started after our chest with a hard foul on Wallace after he got behind him. And then Ben Wallace came over with the shove. And an ugly way for this one to wind down.
Totally uncalled for.
I want to see the foul again because it appeared Wallace was past him and Artest shoved him. And that's what Wallace took exception to, but you still can't react that way. You've got to let it go. That's not that hard of a foul. It's not a normal foul, but not that hard. And Ben Wallace can't react that way. Wallace is still charged up. Now, Wallace, I would assume, has been ejected. The way Steven Jackson's carrying on, they should eject him as well.
They need to somehow find a way to get this game over with as quickly as possible.
The problem is, if Wallace is ejected, I'm not sure, he'd have to walk past the Pacer bench to go. Now Artest has jumped over the scorer's table and is trying to get down to the bench. Artest is in the stands. Oh, this is awful. Fans are getting involved. Steven Jackson's in the fans. Rasheed Wallace going into the stands. The security trying to somehow restore order. Fans and players are going at it, and the players trying to help each other out.
This is a disgrace.
All the players now, they're jumping in there to try and get the other players out because the fans have come involved. Oh, what a sad scene here at the Palace. And now another fight's breaking out in front of the Pistons bench. It's a fan on the court. This is very, very dangerous. Fans are throwing cups with liquid in them now onto the court. Ron Artest has a look in his eye that's very scary right now. You wonder if the official's going to let this game continue. Now they're throwing bottles out onto the floor. They're trying to get the Pacers to go back to the locker room. What was maybe you could call a hard foul at best has turned into just an ugly, ugly scene.
Chuck Person.
The officials, I think they're going to call this game off, and that should be. The outcome is definitely decided. You have these ridiculous fans trying to go at the players and now throwing. Somebody could really get hurt. This is a bad showing from the Pistons fans here. Just firing bottles from the stands. The Pacers have all gone back into the locker room, and they're getting thrown a lot of debris, and they're still not all the way through. And for some reason, they hold Austin Crozier out. They won't let him get under the tunnel because they're afraid for his safety. They're pouring liquid over. What a disgraceful showing from the Pistons fans here. That's one of the worst scenes I've ever seen.
This is a low moment in NBA history.
The players just have to get out of there. Get back to the locker room and forget about it. The game has been called. The official announcement has been made. The game has been called, which was the right call. The outcome obviously is over. And players and fans in danger with the emotions and the tempers being completely lost. It all started with a foul. Ron Artest with a foul that Ben Wallace deemed was too hard. As you see the Pacers going underneath the tunnel trying to cover their heads. You can see the debris, some of it being aimed at him, and a lot of it you can't see that's just missing wildly. The security did their best, but it had escalated to a point where there were players and fans fighting in the stands before there was enough security around. Let's go to Jim Gray.
Mike and Bill, I was sitting right next to Ron Artest when he was laying down before he went into the stands. A fan came and threw a beer and a bottle on him from point-blank range. When he got hit by that, he erupted. He knew exactly who it was, and he jumped right out after him. The fan got in very close proximity, and that's what triggered Ron Artest, who had been lying down even after Ben Wallace had thrown a towel at him. That's what triggered this, Mike. I was standing within a couple of feet of him.
That's what triggered the big brawl in the stands. You saw what just triggered the entire incident. Artest with a foul that he should have let go. He fouled Wallace from behind, but Wallace overreacted to that foul.
Certainly no winners in this circumstance at all.
It became such a dangerous situation. Then you see Steven Jackson in there taking shot at the stands. And granted, it's very difficult when you're a player and the fans come at you, either physically or verbally, but you have to restrain yourself. You just can't respond to it. There were so many bottles and cups thrown. There's Artest after what Jim Gray reported. And you saw there was no security around at the time, and it was too late. Many of the players going in there to get Artest out of there. And it had seemed the whole thing had calmed down when that fan came at Ron Artest. And another incident for Ron Artest, so unfortunate. And again, the fan, hopefully security is able to get the fan and he'll receive proper punishment. But the overreaction.
All teams have been secured. Just leave the palace peacefully.
That was Larry Brown, who tried to make an announcement to the fans. So upset with what happened. And the Pistons have some great fans, but a lot of them tonight were an absolute disgrace, the ones throwing things and getting involved. The final score, with the game canceled before the time had run out, Pacers defeat the Pistons with a very ugly, ugly scene to finish off. Now let's join John Saunders in our ESPN studio.